Happiness is an inside job. At Happy Healthy You, Connie Bowman helps us find our way with inspiring conversations and healthy ideas for living a whole life in mind, body and spirit. Happy Healthy You. And now, here's Connie.
Everybody, welcome to Happy Healthy You, the podcast. I hope you're happy today. I'm happy, even though I had a little shot of, I had a little steroid shot this morning to get rid of a little scar. So I have a little soreness going on, but I'm still happy. What is happiness? Merriam-Webster defines happiness as a state of well-being and contentment. And it's really what we all want, isn't it? Just to be happy. I mean, when we're born, most of us, if we're lucky to be born in a body, especially if we're lucky enough to be born in a country as wonderful as ours, we are lucky enough to be probably happy. My little puppy, Sophie, she's 7 months old, and she's pretty happy. She hasn't had too many difficulties in life, except for she has a big fear of stairs right now. So she doesn't want to come up the stairs to sleep in her bed, in our bedroom. And I think that's making her a little bit unhappy. But it's not that bad, right? But today we're going to talk about happiness, and especially how we can really live almost every day, almost every moment in that state of well-being and contentment. So I'm really excited to bring our guest in. But before we do, I want to tell you about something else that makes me a little bit happy. Actually really happy. Blue Planet Eyewear. They are the sponsor of this podcast, and they're a really terrific company. They are eco-friendly. They make frames with recycled materials. They make their temples with natural bamboo or wood to reduce carbon footprints. And their motto, which is the best thing, is visualize change. So every pair of readers or sunglasses that we purchase, they donate to those who might not be able to afford vision wear. They donate through partners like SEE International, Feed the Children, Direct Relief, Best Day Foundation. And one of their mottos is a grateful journey every step of the way. So what could be wrong with that? So go to blueplaneteyewear.com, shop around, and if you find something you like, use the code Connie20, which is our special Happy Healthy You discount. 20% discount off readers, sunglasses, and all this will be in the show notes. So without further ado, let me bring in our guest for today, our happiness expert. Jacqueline Pirtle is the founder of FreakyHealer.com. How much fun is that? Her passion for happiness shines through in all of her work as an energy healer, a mindfulness happiness coach, and she is the author of 365 Days of Happiness, a new book that she wrote after spending every day of 2017 devoted to her own happiness. She wrote every single day about the things that bring her joy, and just so she could, she's going to tell us about it, so she could share it with us. So I can't wait to talk to her about it. She's helped hundreds of clients shift into a, as she calls it, high for life frequency. Can't wait to talk about that, where they can reach happiness anywhere at any time. And she's helped them improve their health. She's actually helped women conceive. She's helped people create abundance in their lives and shifted people from a maybe a sense of feeling of less than happy to happiness. She's been on tons of podcasts before, and I'm so grateful to have her here on Happy Healthy You. Welcome, Jacqueline.
Thank you, Connie, for this introduction. That makes me giggle and very proud, of course. So thank you for having me. This is amazing. Thank you.
I could tell first when I received your beautiful book, 365 Days of Happiness, in my mailbox, I could tell that you were going to be a fun guest on this podcast. And then when we exchanged emails, I knew we were going to have a lot to talk about. So let's just dive right in. So you spent the whole year, 2017, devoted to your own happiness. What led up to that? Maybe let's start there.
Yeah, sure. It was kind of like an idea, also spur of the moment. You know, it was New Year's Eve, 2017. We're sitting around the table with friends, and you know how you always say, like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I just had this idea, and I said, you know, I do this work in helping people like redefine their happiness and then be and live it, right? All the time, every day, and I just want to basically putting in writing to reach more people, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write every single day little things about what spiritually I am guided to focus on that day, put it in writing and see what happens. And then it just so happens that at one point I said, that's it, it's going to be a book. And then at the end of the year I said, well, I better do this. And then, you know, in March it came out.
Very cool. Well, the cover is so fun. You guys have to take a look at it. It has this amazing looking cupcake on that cover. that's gonna make a lot of people happy just looking at that cupcake. It's beautiful.
Thank you. That's what I hear. I hear that when people see it, and then when they hold it in their hands, they usually hug it because they just can't be anything else than already uplifted. And yeah. I absolutely am in love with that cover of the book. When I saw it, I knew this is it.
Yeah. So I also wrote a book a few years ago called Back to Happy, about my journey getting back to happy after journeying through grief. And I'm wondering, a lot of people write about happiness because they have actually been to the opposite of happiness. Did you have a need to redefine your own feelings of happiness, or did you have any kind of experience that was, as we say, the opposite of happiness?
Right, sure. I mean, my journey about being an absolute, you know, happiness, a passion person and believer and doer and feeler, I started really when I was little. It's just back then I didn't really know what this is all about, but I'm a redhead lady today, and so back in time as a redhead girl growing up in Switzerland, that's where I'm from, it was just back then, it was just still like really believed that, you know, redheads are evil and this kind of stuff. So there was a lot of bullying and a lot of loneliness and teasing going on from, you know, everybody really in school and private. And so my reaction to this was naturally to turn inward, and I never felt like I'm on a crossroad because I was really little, but I'm sure that, you know, I probably did feel a little bit like that, and I just chose to be in a happy bubble, and because it felt good, right? I wanted to feel good, so I was just inside of me constantly creating good feeling things, right? And then it just, throughout my life, it grew into more and bigger, and then I realized my gifts of the energy healing and just spiritually being very connected and seeing through people and helping people all the time. And then I just spread it, kind of, it grew in the inside, and I spread it to the outside. It just made me even happier and feel even better. And I just knew that this is my calling. And sure, of course, then I met my husband. And, you know, when you meet your soulmate, you learn a lot about yourself. And then my happiness, of course, grew together with him. I have 2 children, and that, of course, because to me, they're my teachers, right? They came into my life, and I knew, okay, I better listen. And that grew. And then a couple years back was a really big situation where I took care of a loved one for over 2 months in a hospital. And I don't really want to get too much into that. They're fine now. But back then, what did that mean for me? Because I always believe that everything happens for a reason. There's always a gift in everything. And when I sat in a hallway on the floor in that hospital the first night, I realized and I knew this is going to be a longer period. So what is this, right? What is this for me? What can I do here besides on a physical life level, taking care of my loved one and doing whatever I can on that level? But what does this spiritually, right? What am I here to do? And what I got was to basically make anybody and everybody that I encounter at all times in that hospital feel the best ever about themselves. But it starts with taking super excellent care of myself, no matter if I live in a hospital for that long, right? To really get up and be happy and live happy and not base my happiness on the circumstances, and then basically share that with everybody and everything around me, with smiling at people, saying thank you and lifting them, right? And maybe even inspiring them. And that's what I did. And it just, that book was also then born, you know, through that experience, because there was no more doubt in my mind that you can be and live happy no matter your circumstances.
I love this conversation already. I love this. So you were a pretty wise little redhead as a little girl. It's so funny. My grandmother always wanted a redheaded great-grandchild. She was like, can't you marry that redhead you were dating? Yeah, so I don't understand that people would bully redheads, because they're so, they do have, I guess there is some folklore about the redheaded woman that goes back who knows how far, but they're usually fiery and energetic and, you know, have a lot to offer the world, very full of energy. So good for you. Awesome.
Thank you.
I love that. So I was reading in some of your materials, and it's very synchronistic, because a couple of days ago I was recording another podcast about men and depression, of all things, and we talked about the responsibility that each one of us has for our own happiness. I think it's a Dalai Lama, maybe, is it? Who says that's our mission here, is really to be happy, right? And I've read that you wrote that somewhere, that and maybe I'm, you know, sort of paraphrasing, but can we talk about that a little bit? Like you mentioned when you were in that hospital how you wanted to just brighten everyone's day and use your energy to uplift. And that's what we can all do, right? If we just work on our own happiness.
Oh, absolutely. I guess the real important part for me in this is that it has nothing to do that I made other people or helped other people be happy, because that would be not the right thing, because who am I to say if somebody's journey is not happy for them right now, right? Even if they may be sad, it's their journey. It's more about, for me, my responsibility is to be the absolutely most best happy me I can be, because we're all energy, we're all connected, we're all one, right? We're speaking with each other and we're connected, we're sharing and co-creating energy together and feelings together for your listeners. So my responsibility is to be the best happy me I can be, and then through that, obviously, I'm sharing it because we're all connected, and hopefully I'm also inspiring other people without any, you know, there is no have to include it in that. It's really just whoever is open and receiving in their time and their journey right now to take that inspiration, say, hey, wait a minute, I can do that too. I want to do that too. But I'm a big believer in that everybody's responsibility is really to work on ourselves to be the best happy me or you can be.
Yeah. And if somebody is going through a depression or you know, a low period, as we all will, but, you know, there are ups and downs in every life.
Absolutely.
Just allowing someone else's happiness molecules to inspire us, I think, is part of just being open to the changes of being happy, like to be able to shift to that next level. So.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to get to I want to read a sample of your book in a little bit, but I just wanted to talk about a few other things. So you say that we can reach happiness anywhere at any time. That's intriguing to me. How can we do that? Like, if we are in a situation that is stressful, like today I face planted when I was running last. This is a very trite example, but I'll just use it as an example. When I was running last fall, I face planted because I was holding my phone and I wanted to save my phone instead of my face. And so I had a little scar on my face, on my upper lip, and I had this I went to the doctor today and she said, I'm going to just inject the steroid. It was the most painful thing I've ever felt. Oh my gosh. I'm like, how can you be happy when you're in pain? I mean, I'm using that as a silly example, but I know a lot of people in my yoga classes, for example, and that come for Reiki that are in chronic pain. How can we, using pain as an example, how can we actually reach happiness anywhere, considering some of the situations we are in?
Right. I get asked that a lot, and I come across that too. You know, I wake up with headaches too, or pain and whatnot. But it always boils down to just really letting go of any expectations you have that happiness has to show up on your doorstep, right? So we have this thought of happiness needs to be that I'm all like dancing around and smiling and laughing and playing around, and everything is bloomy and golden and great. And the thing is that when you have that understanding of what happiness needs to be, or needs to be that way, you really put yourself under pressure. So then there you go, you wake up with a pain. Well, that's not happiness, but it is happiness. And so first of all, it's to let go of all expectations. Happiness comes in many different ways. When you have pain, for instance, and like I say, I have pain too. Pain is the body's language, and the pain speaks to you. The body can't speak in many other ways to you, right? It can't just like speak to you in words. So it speaks to you in pain, saying, hey lady, you're messing up, right? You're not taking good care of yourself, or you need to drink more, or eat different, or sleep more, or whatever it is, right? So instead of wanting that pain to go away because it's not happiness, to really invite that pain and say, hey, thank you for showing up today. As long as you want, I know you have a message for me, so what is it? Have a chit chat with it. Ask your body what this pain is trying to tell you, right? And then this pain, you will get answers, you know, like it can come in visions, in words, in thoughts. Oh, wait a minute, right? Yesterday I didn't really eat so well, or I did not really go to the bathroom well, or I didn't sleep enough, or anything that it is, and then turn this whole ship around and say, thank you, this is amazing, and then go take care of yourself. And that will absolutely release any pressure you had, or any expectations you had about happiness. And that's how the headache then is also allowed to stay and go away again. Not that you want it to go away, because that makes it not happy again, but to then say, oh, I got it. And usually the headaches then go away, or the pain can start to kind of release itself. And to just look in these situations. And then the other thing would be to just let go of any resistance you have, right? Happiness is this weird, like a lot of people think like, happiness, come on, it's not possible every day, and that's a resistance we have, right? I'm a big believer that you are happiness, and that happiness is you. There's nothing to find, because every single cell of your body is happiness. Every breath you take, every blood pumping is happiness. It's life. It's you being here in this physical life. So, and ultimately you are happiness, and happiness is you. It's right there. It's like a package deal, right? Wherever you show up, happiness is right there too. And to really accept that and understand that, and then let go of any resistance. And how to do that, on how it works for my clients and how it works for me really good, is to really just you can even say that or think it. I accept what's going on. I respect what's going on. I appreciate what's going on. I thank and I love what's going on.
Oh.
And that can maybe be a little hard to say, I love my headache, or I love my depression, or I love what you thought was not happiness. But ultimately, how can you not love your pain when your pain is the language of your body that's guiding you to feel better?
I love the way you just put that, and you were so emphatic about it. So I believe it. So let's just recap. Okay, so this is how we can be happy anywhere at any time. So we have to reframe our way of thinking if we are focusing on the negative thing that is present. we have to let go of expectations because they're just a setup for disappointment, right? That's pretty much true. I remember when my husband and I got married, I said, well, what kind of expectations? I think we were filling out the marriage counseling form that the church gave us or something. And it said, what kind of expectations do you have for each other? And so I said, what kind of expectations do you have for me? And you better watch it. I was probably looking at him really hard. And he said, I don't have any. And it's true. He really has no expectation. If I don't fix dinner, he doesn't complain. He just does it. And, I mean, really, to this day, after many, many, many years of marriage, he still has no. So he can't be disappointed. Now, me, on the other hand. So, and then we have to ask. Now, that's a big thing. Like, what is this pain or whatever is present that might be the opposite of happiness? What does this have to teach me? And then let go of the resistance to know the answer, because that true answer does come, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's really also that's so important that to become aware that nothing has to change. And I know you might then say, yeah, but if I'm in pain, I have a depression, don't you think it should change? No, actually, nothing has to change. You are where you are. It's perfect. It's okay. Nothing has to change. And when you say that and believe that, and when you let go of that pressure that you have to be different, that things have to be different, even in a hard time, like think me in that hospital, if I would have said to myself, oh, it has to change. Well, it's not going to change right now. Nothing has to change. But my perception, my feeling, my attitude, and just everything about how I look and think and hear, taste, smell, see this situation, that I can shift. It doesn't have to change. But if I shift that into alrighty then, so what am I going to do now? And you will get an answer. And when you do that, out of that wonderful new space that then you create, it's all these good opportunities and situations and solutions that you had no idea they could even exist because you were too busy to be under pressure thinking it needs to change, are suddenly in front of you, and then you're open to actually see them and receive them.
And using the example of my husband who had no expectations, but me who had a lot of expectations for him, eventually after many years, I let go of the expectation that he should make dinner exactly the same number of nights a week and clean the dishes exactly the same number of nights a week and take care of the kids exactly the same amount as me. When I let go of that expectation, our marriage got a lot better, and he stepped up to the plate a lot more, and it was more about me. And that's the key, I think. It's always about us, right? It's always about us.
It's never about the other. It's always like my feelings are my feelings. Nobody can make me feel anything. And important is to then take responsibility of your feelings and say, oh, I feel that. So what is that? Maybe it's an old trauma that's ready to be released. Maybe it's a next stepping stone for me to understand more about myself. But it's always, everything is always about me, what's happening for me. It's never to me, it's for me. And then work with that, and then you have a complete different way of like living and experience your life.
And this is a process, and we'll talk about how you went through this whole year of really living this in a little bit. But I want to finish this because this is really rich, everything that we're talking about. So so we have to sit with that. If we get the information after we ask that there is some childhood trauma or something that is coming up to be released, we have to really be with that, right? We have to feel that. Just allow it to be before we can, we have to kind of come to some peace with that.
I like how you just said, we just have to kind of let it be. And it's all about that. that headache has to have space to be. That trauma has to have space to be. Your sadness has to have space to be. And when you let things be, it's just, you can fall in love with the feelings that you have because of an old trauma. You can actually fall in because it's part of you. Think about the traumas, and everybody has them. It's like a little backpack that everybody carries on their back, right? We all have certain traumas. And think about, like, this book that I wrote and the work I do is based on who I am today. Well, these traumas were all, or are all, part of who I am today, which makes them actually gifts. Sure, some people do you wrong, but that's theirs. What does this have to do with me? Well, who I am today, these are like little stepping stones, little brick stones that made me who I am today. And that in itself makes it a gift, and it's beautiful. I'm in love with it. And that's why the book exists. And that's happiness to me. Nothing has to change.
I think this is where a lot of people get stuck, though. I know I've been in situations where I've had to just let something be and sit with it, even though I might be feeling hurt or angry or some really intense emotions. And to sit with that was very difficult. But I know when I did, and I have some practices that I use. I breathe, and I do yoga, and I pray, and I go to my go-to spiritual practices, and eventually things shift. And the whole purpose is being happy. So if I can keep that sort of in the forefront, so I know that I have a goal, I can get there. I can get through it. I don't know. What do you have to say about that? Because I think this is like, something is about to be released, or maybe you don't know, but you're sitting in this crap, this, what do they call it in Switzerland? The really hard shit.
Yeah.
Probably something prettier. Probably something very pretty, but you're sitting in it, and it's a difficult place to be, even though, you've got this happiness goal, that's this bubble. So how do you do it, Jacqueline?
Well, first, I acknowledge what's happening. Okay, I'm having a hard day, or okay, I'm in pain, or okay, this is what's happening. No judgment, just acknowledge. And then I go into letting go of expectations that it has to be different. It doesn't have to be different. It is what it is. It's okay. And then I move on into I accept. I respect, I appreciate, I thank, and I love what's going on. And then I breathe, and out of that moment, out of that clear space that you can literally feel things falling off of you, and you just, out of that space, I'm going to go and say, so what would feel good to me right now? And then take a baby step, a piece of chocolate. Yeah. Sure, I'm going to go have that piece of chocolate and indulge in it really deeply and long and feel the chocolate. I might even have a conversation with the chocolate about happiness, right? Then, or you can look at birds. You can go hug a tree. You can focus on your breathing. You can do movement, whatever it is. Little baby steps, what makes you feel better. If it makes you feel good, it's happiness.
I love that. And I bet you've had some really good chocolate over there in Switzerland. Right?
Yeah. All over the world, actually.
All over the world, yeah. Wouldn't that be great to do a chocolate tour? That would be happiness. Just to
that would be happiness right there. Right?
Yeah. So, okay. So that makes a lot of sense. I think this is a stumbling block for me and for probably a lot of people. So when you're in that place where you just have to let it be, keep the story to a minimum, right? No shame, blame, or guilt. Those are the killers. When you create a story around something, you feel the shame, you might want to blame somebody else, you might feel guilt. So no judgment, just let whatever is happening be. And then go right to gratitude. Do what makes you happy. And then I love the final thing. Remember, you are happiness. You are happiness. Maybe, absolutely. Is there an image that, besides the cupcake, is there another image that comes to mind? Like, I immediately, when I said those words, I am happiness, I think of my little puppy, because that's a really good image for me. just this happy puppy kind of rolling on her back, just like being, and babies are so happy. Is there an image that comes to mind for you that is happiness? Maybe that's helpful for people to come up with an image to keep in the back of their mind.
Right. I mean, my image changes constantly, right? I love nature. I love animals. I love my family. So anything really. I love crystals. I love a good cup of tea, a good glass of red wine, some chocolate. But also like, you know, like for instance, standing in front of the mirror and focusing on something that you really like about yourself, right? It can be one freckle. I have thousands of them. It can be one freckle. You find something. It could be a fingernail. It could be your smile. It can be anything. And to really just look at that and feel how good it makes you feel that you like that on yourself, right? Or something you're really good at, right? Maybe you're good at singing. Maybe you love your voice. Maybe you love your toes. Maybe something, and really focus and realize that in a physical appearance that you are, that is what you like about yourself. Then move maybe into your thoughts, right? Because to me, we're one being, but we're different components, right? So your physical body, find something on your physical body that you really like about yourself and focus on that. And then you are your mind. Find something in your mind that you really like about yourself. Maybe a thought that constantly comes up and that just makes you feel so good, right? Focus on that. Then your soul, right? Your soul lives in your heart. Like, what is in your heart? What touches your heart? Good music, or a beautiful picture, or hugging a furry friend, or touching a baby, or hugging a baby, or a hug or a kiss. Anything that touches your heart, feeds your soul. Focus on that, right? It doesn't have to be much. Just one thing is plenty. And then your consciousness, right? Which the power of your consciousness is in your now. So right now, what is going right for you right now that makes you feel really good? Is it your breath? Because you realize that every breath is a celebration of you being here, right? Is it you and I? We're talking here. We're having a great conversation. I'm having a smile. I love that, right? It can be storming outside and all these things happening, circumstance, whatnot. But you and I are talking right now with each other and co-creating amazing information and energy for your listeners. And that is happiness. So right now it can be, like I say, right now, it can be a piece of chocolate. It can be your breath. It can be a bird flying right in front of you. It can be a feather coming down and you realizing, wait a minute, that feather is energy just like I am. What is that feather wanting to tell me? Why is that feather coming right in front of me, right? Like, oh, be light. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not light anymore. That feather is telling me you're too heavy. Be light. Look at me, right? Like, really play with your consciousness, with the universe, what's happening to you right now, and little by little. And that's what this book is so amazing about. Every single day it kind of helps you to focus on one thing. And then after 365 days of happiness, you're trained, right? Your mind, your whole being is trained, and you get a glimpse of how it feels when you feel good. Just even if, here's another idea. If you sit down, you sit down right now and you say, what feels good to me? How does that feel when I'm happy? And you just kind of feel it, visualize it, and then take that with you during the day. And every time you kind of lose yourself a little bit into some other emotions, you could come back to that and say, that's how it feels for me, right?
Yeah. So there's actual science behind this, right? Neuroscience says that neurons that fire together wire together. So if we take your book and read and reflect on each page every single day for a year, we're definitely going to be making some new positive grooves in our brain.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the important part is also for me too, that your listeners and also, the people I work with understand that even when you're angry, that is happiness. Because it's when you're angry and you judge yourself, or you think anger is bad or shouldn't be or shouldn't have gotten angry, that is the only part that actually makes anger not a part of you that is happiness. But when you look at anger and say, hey, wait a minute, what is anger? Anger is an energy, it's a feeling, it's an energy, it's a very, very powerful fighter energy. That means you just learned about yourself that you actually got some fight in you, right? Mm-hmm. And when you accept that and then don't act it out on others, but when you're angry, to live it in the way, maybe go clean your house, maybe go clean your car, or do something that's really good when you do it in a forceful way, right? And afterwards, when you're done and you have this clean house, or this, I don't know, you got the tree down that needed to go down or something, right? You're going to be so happy. So you lived your anger as a real powerful energy and part of you in a positive way. Same with sadness. Like I always say, make best friends with your feelings. Don't have them go away. Don't judge them. Everybody gets angry. Hey, why not become best friends with your anger and really use it for what it's meant to be used for, and what makes it positive, and then it turns it all into happiness.
Yeah, good point. Use it for good. That's the key, right?
Yeah.
Take all that energy and use it for good, right? I want to read, I chose day 301 just sort of randomly, but when I opened to it, I was like, oh, this is beautiful. Do you mind if I read just a little bit of it?
Oh, please. Thank you.
And you can comment. So on this morning of day 301, as we're reading through your beautiful book, it says, being happy is your natural state of being. When you are happy, your physical health is at its peak. Your mind thinks positive thoughts. Your soul feels good and is heard loud and clear. Your consciousness is vivid. Life is going great for you. Good things come your way, and nothing, not even the unfitting, can shift you from being and living in your high for life frequency. I want to talk about that a little bit. And it goes on. There's a few more paragraphs that just talk about what it feels like to be happy, and it's just beautiful. Can we talk about this high for life frequency that you say we will find and eventually be able to sustain after practicing for a while? Definitely by day 301. I hope I'm feeling high for life.
Yeah, sure. I call it like high for life frequency. I just kind of came up with that description because to me that is what I feel when I'm happy, right? When I just love life. No matter what's happening, I just love life, right? And my body feels really good, even if maybe I have a headache, right? But it feels good because I accept it all. And then my health can actually peak because once I realize what the headache was about and why, I can take care of it and my health can actually peak. I fall in love with my body, right? I am in love with my body and I'm moving constantly and going with the natural flow of life, which is constantly moving, right? Mm-hmm. And then that's a high for life feeling. Like I want to just hug the whole world, right? When my body is just wonderful, right? And the same then goes, of course, with your mind. You know, when you're really committed and to being the happiness and living the happiness that you already are, you have a bigger chance of shifting your thoughts that are not really helping you into thoughts that do help you, right? So let's say you get ready in the morning really fast, right? You look quickly in the mirror and you're like, oh God, it happens to all of us, right? To say then, hey, wait a minute, that did not help me. So I'm just going to shift it, go back in front of that mirror and say, I'm beautiful. Oh my gosh, look at me. And then go. Your whole day will shift and change. And when you commit to be and live the happiness that you already are, you will be able to have these positive thoughts more often, and it becomes kind of like a natural way of thinking for you. And then like we say for the soul, right? I mean, if you touch your heart with many things, like I mentioned before, hugging a baby, you know, or touching a furry friend, or listening to touching music where you get chicken skin, right? Mm-hmm. You nourish your heart and you nourish your soul. And that means you are really truly to you're really true to who you really are from a soul's perspective, because we're really here to feel good. I'm a big believer in we're not here to suffer. We're here to feel good. Suffering and not feeling good is important. That makes you say, hey, wait a minute, that didn't feel good to me. Now I know what I want to feel good, right? Right. So it's important, but ultimately, in my belief is that we're here to feel good, right? And to really have a nourished soul. And then in consciousness, right? If you focus on everything that's going wrong for you, or that you have these expectations, it's going to be really hard for you to go out and have a fabulous best day ever. But if you just commit to focusing on everything that's going right for you, you will be busy all day, because it's in everybody's lives. There's so many things going right for you. Every breath you take, that is going right for you because you are alive, right?
Yes. I like to say that every breath is an opportunity to start again, and to let go of that which no longer serves us, and just breathe it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I may add on that, when you then look at your powerhouse of these components, body, mind, soul, and consciousness, and you work and nourish every component of yourself, you have this high for life powerhouse. It's going to be really hard for you to be unhappy, or to be unhappy for long before you then say, wait a minute, I want to shift again. And the thing is like, let's say you're sad. Sometimes being sad feels really good. You can have a good cry maybe, and this is this release energetically, and this cleansing detox of whatever it is that's going out. But then there comes this moment when suddenly being sad doesn't feel so good anymore. And that is that moment to catch, right? So you're sad, it feels good. It doesn't feel good anymore. That's that moment to be aware of. And that's when it's good to shift to something else that makes you feel good.
Always shifting to something that makes you feel good. Now, for some people, that might become more of an addiction. How do we know if we are heading in that direction versus just kind of bringing more balance into our lives?
Well, I believe that when you feel good and you're basically following feeling good, which to me, that means you're following your heart, you're following your soul purpose, that I cannot see in any way that would become an addiction. It simply just means that you choose to feel good in life and to experience your life and your time being here in the best fitting way, a most truthful way to yourself.
Yeah. Just don't want to form an attachment to that feel good. We have to let it release the feeling good, just as we released the feeling bad. Just let it flow in and out, and know that you are not that. Here, I just had an aha moment. So we are happiness. We are not the flow of the perceived good and bad that comes in and out of our lives. We are happiness. We are love. We are joy. Right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. And it only turns into good or bad when we make up our mind. Until then, everything just is, right?
Good. I like the way you did that. I like the way you helped me shift that. That was good. That was good. So, do you feel like you've developed a keener intuition from your practice of happiness?
Oh, absolutely. Because it's really true to myself. When I feel good, it's like I'm the most connected ever, right? But I mean, it's also like when I feel good, I'm clean and free and resistance free and expectation free. And for the work I do with helping people and energy healing and being an intuitive, it's really important for me to really work all the time on shifting myself to being good, because that way I can help my clients in the cleanest way possible.
Sure. Do you have any go-to self-healing practices that you do besides the eating of the chocolate? I mean, more physical and spiritual meditation, or?
Yeah, I mean, make sure that I honor and celebrate myself every day, usually in the morning and then in the evening again. And that can sometimes be a couple minutes. And it really goes with, I practice my book too. So that's one thing. And I love yoga, for instance, as a movement. I love yoga and biking and go out there in nature. And the other is like to just really be with myself, right? To sit, even if it's with a cup of tea, to be and to just feel my body. Like, how does my body feel right now in every corner and every part of my body? How does it feel? What do you have to tell me? Oh, really? Oh, this is what, oh, okay, glad to know, right? And then with my mind to really just be with myself without any expectations, no have to do anything. And then to make my commitment in the morning when I wake up. Today, my biggest commitment, my absolute goal is to feel good and to follow that.
Beautiful. That's just beautiful, Jacqueline. I believe you. I feel like I'm happier just being in your phone presence. So thank you.
Thank you.
I want to give everybody the information for you and your book, 365 Days of Happiness, with the beautiful cupcake on the cover. So maybe we could go ahead and do that, unless you have anything else you want to add for our listeners that might just create a little shift in them on this day, in this moment as we speak. Anything come to mind?
What I'd like to share for the end is to really just go out there and be yourself and feel good because you deserve it, and to not hold back, right? To really not just enjoy that little smile, but to laugh out loud, right? To not just kind of play a little bit, no, to go all out and be crazy and play really hard with life and be you, and make sure that you take excellent care of yourself and feeling good. You deserve it.
We do deserve it. We do deserve it. Okay, so where can we find you and your book?
You can find me at freakyhealer.com. That's my website, and I'm on social media everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, under that name, Freaky Healer. My book is on Amazon, or you can also get a signed copy on my website. And if you could, that would be amazing if you could leave a review on Amazon and Goodreads about the book. And these reviews are just incredible how they help.
They are. They really help spread the word. Yes, they do.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks for reminding me. I meant to do that. Okay, cool. Well, everybody needs a freaky healer. So
thank you so much.
So now I have one, and we all have one. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for coming on the podcast and sharing your book and your wisdom and your light. You're just beautiful. Your light is contagious. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Connie, for having me. You made this super easy, and you're so warm and welcoming. So thank you for that.
Oh, awesome. All right. Well, have a happy day.
You too. Bye-bye.